All right, great. So, I don't know if this was in the last few days or not. You wanted to say something?
About what?
Oh, I'm not sure, but I'm about to tell you the next segment.
Well,
Over the past, I don't know if it's 2 days or last few hours, I've seen this feature of Sowore and Aisha Yusuf on Channels TV, and a particular comment caught my eye. Honestly, I haven't really watched the whole thing, but I'm gonna play just a little bit of it, and then I really want to know your take on this. But the comment was something about Nigeria already in a state of anarchy. Here's the question, right? Is Nigeria already in a state of anarchy? I'm gonna play this short video, and then we'll talk about it. Let's go.
And then we come to Aisha.
I think any way that saves people from the doom and destruction that has become their lot is legitimate. And I say this so that people are very clear about where I stand on Nigerian issues. Earlier, I agree with Aisha that there is no country. Where I disagree or differ from them and their party was their own brazen hope, I call it brazen, that the judiciary was somehow going to deliver differently in the 2023 election, because it has been very clear from the election, from the primaries at the party's level, the conduct of INEC, that they were not planning an election. So when the elections were over and there was this eye on the judiciary, I was wondering.
So this has been generally the tone that we get from Sowore. Let me play this short clip real quick, very short, 30 seconds. And then I really want us to speak a little bit on this. Let's hear this one
Any
here.
direction. That's the biggest problem. You can only tell about direction if there is, from a geographical point of view, there's any kind of movement. Here you see a lot of motion, there is no movement. And if there's any movement at all, it's a movement that is going backwards. And Nigerians or Nigeria is paying heavily for both their decisions and their indecisions. Their decisions in deciding, for those who decided in this trajectory, and the indecision of those who did nothing. And that's why you cannot say, and I agree with Aisha, that you have a country today. We've never had a nation. I argue this all the time, that Nigeria was never a nation. It was a transaction from the beginning. And that next step is what we haven't been able to make, because we never also have had the kind of leaders that are visionary, that are capable of driving you in the right direction since I have been a Nigerian, which is 1971.
Nigeria was a transaction from the beginning. That's what Sowore said. This has been his tone ever since, even when he was running for president. So I want to know your take on this, and I really want you to answer two questions in addition to this. First of all, what the heck is anarchy? And is Nigeria in a state of anarchy already?
okay. To answer your question, simply put, state of anarchy essentially is a state of lawlessness. You put, yeah, because of the dynamics of existence, you are trying to make everything to hold from the center or in components, and then things are breaking down, falling apart. You have all manner of people who have questionable issues about personal discipline manning the stage. A friend of mine was telling me about what kakistocracy represents, the leadership of less competent people. So people who are really, who are really good, who are mindful of the common good, who wants to operate pro bono et publico, that is, they want to do everything for the good of the public. They are never allowed to come on stage. And so you find people with all kinds of interests, conflicting interests, other than the generality of the majority. I mean, the interest, the good of the majority. You find them calling the shots. People may not appreciate the sadness of the arguments that often come from Omoyele Sowore in this time and age. But let me tell you, he has really emerged on the stage as one of Africa's, if not the present world, because I'm looking beyond, I'm placing his personality beyond what Nigeria is doing to him, how they try to denigrate him, rubbish him, break his spirit. He's almost so indomitable. Sowore is fast emerging as the most vocal, outspoken conscience of the time in which we live. He is a robust philosopher, only unfortunate to have been born in a place like Nigeria. But Nigeria is also blessed to have had somebody like Omoyele Sowore, because for all times, we will need people with that kind of sound reasoning on the stage. Even when Sowore, maybe anyway, you have been with him in his media headquarters in Manhattan, New York before. When you are with him, you know, he has this infectious character. He says something that is serious, but you are laughing through and through. That is what I take away from being around him. He makes me to laugh. Not that I do not look at the seriousness of what he's saying, but he has humor. He delivers it with humor. The Nigerian government leadership is incapable of affording itself moments of relaxation and then trying to enter into conversation with a serious mind like Omoyele Sowore. Whatever he has said, because I've seen that clip, there is another aspect of it that is saying that whatever action you take to correct an anomaly, say election process and what have you, would always become lawful, so that you don't have all this kind of shenanigans bedeviling a nation that should otherwise be great. While leaders who are well advanced in age, with due respect, you see, I'm talking about, I respect elders. I honor them. But if you consider that a boy of 16, 17, 18 is strong enough, is good enough to lay his or her life, I mean, a boy or a girl, is good enough, is grown up enough to lay his life or her life down as a soldier for a country. And you know that this is not something that can effectively be done by old people. Why is it that when it comes to a nation's leadership, you want to deal them out? Like Professor Ralph Akinfele of University of Lagos will put it. They always want to, they are so desperate in dealing out the able-bodied men and women in Africa that can get this done. Yes, we all may not agree on all the issues concerning Nigeria, but more often than not, Sowore is often right. And people are not even speaking up as to those processes and actions that have been taken against him, abnormal things, over and over. Since his passport, you try to delegitimize the citizenship. You want to gag him for what? For involvement in leadership. So Sowore is right in whatever. I have watched the clips through and through. That guy, I can't place a handle on what that might be particularly, but I can say without equivocation that Sowore has a role to play in the future of Nigeria and the world in which we live. I'm looking beyond Nigeria and Africa. He's a guy for tough seasons. And yeah, God bless him, whatever he wants to do. Because for practically doing nothing, just mentioning the word revolution, look at what Nigeria has done to him. What about the place of free speech, freedom of expression in the Constitution? Has anybody seen him taking a gun? I mean, has anybody seen him take a gun people who use guns that were bought with taxpayers' money to sack elected leadership in Nigeria were venerated at the time. They were even believed to be the Messiah looking around the corner to deliver the entire people. But when they got there, what did they do? They messed up big time. So Sowore is one guy that Nigerians all over the world, whether in or outside the country, is one guy all of us are waiting for. And whatever he says, whatever he has said in this encounter with Aisha, I believe him. That's why he even said that in the same interview. He said that, yes, he took a position that there was no election. And what he was saying, in effect, was that some people met like a conclave and then they allocated votes. I do not,
Right.
I can't speak to that fact. But Sowore always has information. He's a pool of information. You want to challenge him to that? God bless your soul. But, oh yeah, that is Sowore for you. But he said it there that the Labour Party it took people up. They welled so much anxiety and what have you up in people. And when it was time to consolidate on that, they started preaching appeasement and all kinds of pacifism. He felt that was one moment Nigerians should have worked in concert with Labour Party to give a decisive and final push against their oppressors. But that did not happen. That the Labour Party was banking on the court. That is the context in which he spoke about all eyes on the judiciary. I mean, all eyes on the judiciary, whatever the people were saying then. So give it to Omoyele Sowore. He's still on the stage. Those of us who admire him, the consolation we have is in the fact of what founding fathers of Nigeria, some of them went through in order to birth a nation. Even post-independence, what happened? There were people with prophetic voices, predictions, forecasts, vision for the country. Remember the great collection of speeches by one of those trilogies by my late uncle Olaya Fagbami, Voice of Courage. Those were moments when people were delivering hard warnings as to the direction Nigeria was headed. If those calls were not, those calls were not listened to, look at where Nigeria is today. It's like worsening of the whole thing. So, in a nutshell, I agree with Omoyele Sowore that Nigeria is in a state of anarchy. Are you going to talk about the economy that was tanked the day the president was being sworn in? When he said, "Oh, subsidy is gone," and the economy went down with it.
Right.
So so he knows what he's talking about. If you do not get it right, as to building a proper trust in terms of electing leaders and making the process credible, everything is dependent on that, because Nigeria's system cannot be trusted concerning the credibility of elections. Every other thing has fallen apart. I think that is what Mr. Omoyele Sowore was talking about there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely on the same page with Mr. Omoyele Sowore. As a matter of fact, in my naive days, first of all, encountering or trying to engage the conversation of politics.
Yes. Did you just use the word naive?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Let me tell you.
Yes.
When you are smart, when you are honest, when you operate in integrity, and you are in politics or leadership, they're like a big chief.
Right.
Some people who really want to prop up all kinds of ridiculous characters to make sure that they just have easy pass at everything. That is the word they often employ. they say you are naive.
They say you're
And
naive.
then, yeah, and the people who come on board with them, they always
Uh-huh.
call them Wambiliki Wobia. I
Mm.
remember a character back in Ayedogbese because of my knack for giving constructive suggestions.
Right.
We'll be whispering to security operators and say, Supo, Supo,
Ah.
will be calling me. Yeah, Supo in Yoruba
Yeah.
practically translates to being naive. So I'm listening to you, Ola.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's no, it's a good additional context to what I was about to say. You know, to actually call it naive, we need to say that with respect to certain context,
Yeah, it
right?
means you are simple natured and then you operate in
It's
integrity.
yes, and you know, naive in the sense of the Nigerian people are ready for change. You know, obviously, I've since changed my stance, and I'm open to when they are ready. I'm open to when they show that they are ready. We're not there yet. I don't believe that a leader makes themselves. I don't believe that the leadership makes itself. You know, I believe it's the people that turn out to be their own leaders. And if there's no quote unquote revolution, I don't think that ever changes. I think people don't change until they hit rock bottom. And what I'm basically referencing is where would that rock bottom be for the Nigerian people, right? And it's almost like we don't know when that rock bottom gets here. I don't think anybody, you know, you might even say when Naira hits 1,500 Naira, maybe that will be the rock bottom. But we don't know that, right? But speaking
Yeah,
of,
but let no zombie, some dance, toy with the idea that okay, we are going to replace whatever is going on with the politicians with a military wing of same. Like it happened, yeah. So because some people can get funny when
right.
people ask for a change, when they want that change, they will get it. You know, remember at Omoyele
If
Sowore
they ask
talking.
for a change, right? If they ask for a change.
Yes, remember Omoyele Sowore talking of apartheid being legal, being supported. All the props,
Right.
the legal props is in South Africa, and the people had to swing to the extreme in order to destroy the legality
Right.
of that illegitimacy.
Right. And it
So,
was talking about that being legitimate regardless of if it's illegal or not.
or not,
Yeah.
and you know, Patriarch Nelson Mandela was never apologetic when he was arraigned for trial um, concerning his activities against the lawless state. Because you may be thinking, oh, I could control all the narratives about the law and what have you. Just like Nigerian leaders often use all kinds of laws drafted in
Right.
the dark and in the open to manipulate the uh, Nigerian people all the time. That is what he's saying. That whatever it means, whether through electoral means, whatever,
To get what the
um,
people want.
so long you respect the people. And
Yes.
Nigerian leaders should put on their
They
thinking.
need to step up their game when it comes to
Yeah, they are
that.
thinking art.
Yeah.
They just have to step it up because it's not going to be anyway. They had a foretaste of that with the NSAS protest. And trying to hide the fact of what happened there has not even helped the nation and one bit. So everybody should be forewarned. So good governance
Yeah.
is the only medicine that will deliver corrupt leaders in the days of trouble.
Absolutely. All right. So, you know, I'm just thinking like if it's you know, in your opinion, let me ask you this question before we round up the segment.
Right.
With the little bit we know about Sowore and his public persona, which is a lot we know about him, right? Let's just limit it to his public persona, right? And what we know about him, his journalistic journey, all of it, everything we know in the public platform. Is he could he ever be the president of Nigeria? And if that's the case, could you describe what state Nigeria would be to allow a Sowore to have more than 30,000 votes?
Sowore is good-natured, and I think if he ever becomes Nigerian leader, the entire the whole game, the whole table will turn. I cannot see anybody stealing even 1 million naira, thinking that he will get away with it. And yes, under a man like Sowore, you have a true government of the people. And only those who would understand that deep will be on board to take the swim. So, yes, I have that supreme confidence in what Omoyele Sowore and our generation represent.
Okay. And do you envisage any kind of downside to taking that type of
Well, what
strategy,
other downside can anybody envisage that will be worse than what they have already tried with him? Beat his spirit, do all kinds of stuff.
Oh, sorry, I meant downside for the nation. If he takes that kind of staunch,
it can only be bright for the nation. There can't be any downside to a man like Sowore coming on the stage, So this one that everybody is talking about, the passage of time for people like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, people that are already, I mean, they have served the nation creditably well. But that kind of party like PDP should be talking to individuals like Omoyele Sowore and co. to see.
Yeah, but we know Omoyele Sowore will never go to PDP.
He may not want to go there. But the dynamics of leadership and change is that you never can tell.
Do you agree that Omoyele Sowore is a coconut head?
It's not a coconut head. Yeah, it may be a. I mean, it depends on coconut head. Are you saying that?
Let me ask that question a different way, Chief. Let me ask that question a different way. No. There's an angle here. I have to plug this angle here, right? So that you can add it to the context of the answer you're about to give, right? Do you think you as an individual, with all due respect, do you think you've ever been a coconut head?
Well, if you look, I don't know the coconut, because sometimes the talk of coconut head has been empty-handed. I mean,
No, I don't mean that. No, we don't mean that. No.
Yes, but if you are talking of coconut head has been strong-willed.
Yes.
Stubborn streak.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Is Sowore one of those people?
Yes, Sowore is one such individual.
Right.
Yeah, Sowore, and I respect him a lot. There was a time a minister, I gone to Nigeria and I interviewed a minister. And that minister got into trouble because he was dancing on the fact that our household now had a green card. I said, you minister of the Federal Republic dancing because of American green card like this? And then that minister again lowered our guard. And I asked her, so what could be the problem? Yeah, I said, so what could be the problem with the health of Mr. Umaru Yar'Adua, the president? And she said, it could be health-related. And then she was narrating to me a scene that looked like something copied from the page of Nick Carter, Improbable Tales, about bullets flying here and there. So when our story came out, and then she was grilled by Aso Rock, for me, I had a good interview, but I knew it could be consequential for her.
Absolutely.
And then when the repercussions came, she told other people that, it was because I needed money and that she said all kinds of things that probably I was planted to undo her.
Always a plant. It's always a plant.
Yeah. Thank God it was somebody like Sowore that brought what that person was peddling around about me to my attention. So when you do your work, even somebody on the same on the board of a news publishing organization with me believed the trash that was being peddled. They the falsehood that was being spread around about me. And thank God, I had my entire production crew with me when this minister was making all kinds of nefarious offers, which I turned down. And then when she gave 100,000, I saw that there were 4 Nigerians around. I took the money from her and I distributed the money to all of them, including police details and SS details. That happened in Abuja, and I'm sure Sowore may not take that money. He will probably take it and probably do what I did. But when I took that money from her in the open like that, I distributed it to everybody that was on my production crew and the police people guarding her. They needed it, not me. And she told people that I was stranded. I said, where? No. I was adequately prepared for that trip before I went there. And that's not me. So, yeah, that is almost yellow Sowore for you. For you, I respect him. He's God. And he's bold. And Nigeria will need him for a very long time. Yes.
I'll tell you, I'm going to end this segment with this. The only way and
yes, and let me tell you, that is emblematic. That is almost an identity that runs through the Sowore family. You know that. Whether it's his younger brother, Allen, or Akinwumi, the commissioner nominee in Ondo State. Akinwumi Sowore was one of the first individuals to blow the whistle on the kind of shady things going around the administration of
Anarchy.
Later deceased the governor of Ondo State, Anarchy, Olarotimi Akeredolu. So you know where they stand. And unfortunately, if Sowore was talking of anarchy in Nigeria, remember another brother of his was killed by some of these terrorists in Nigeria. I mean, that family has paid its dues. And
so ultimately, it's personal. Ultimately,
no, it's not. It's nothing personal. What he's saying is that
it's not being personal, but it's personal. You can relate with a lot of the issues the country is going through.
This is something that everybody, like they say in Nigeria, now all of us they collect.
Right. Well, let me end it with this. I don't think a Sowore or an Omowole Sowore would ever become president in Nigeria unless Nigeria hits rock bottom. Speaking of rock bottom, let's talk about this 1,500. I think it's 1,300 now. I'm not sure. Whichever, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
we're gonna talk.
Yeah. We'll be back in 20 seconds to talk about this special report on the currency and Dangote and all this kind of stuff. So please do us a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe, and follow as we're getting to the rest of the show. We'll be back in 20 seconds.
Thank you.